Look, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I was rewatching it the other day and I noticed a problem in one of the episodes.
Detective Peralta has made a collar in the jewelry store heist.
Way to go, Jakey.
That's okay.
No! He didn't get sufficient evidence to make it stick. So we have the next 48 hours to fix his mistake. If we don't find something conclusive, it jeopardizes the case and opens the department up to a lawsuit. So cancel your plans. We're here until this is over.
Damn it, Peralta.
This episode is called 48 Hours and is one of my favorites. Watching the team try to solve a crime against a ticking clock is just a huge amount of fun. Here's the problem though. Contrary to what Captain Holt just said, a good lawyer would know that the department has already violated the Constitution, but on what grounds? Well, the 48-hour rule Captain Holt is referencing in the clip is known to lawyers as the McLaughlin Rule. Very generally speaking, before a police officer can arrest you, they need a warrant. However, there are exceptions that would allow an officer to arrest you without a warrant. To mitigate abuse of power, if an officer conducts a warrantless arrest, the Supreme Court requires that after the arrest, the officer promptly prove that they had probable cause to make the arrest. But how fast is promptly? In a case called County of Riverside v. McLaughlin, the Supreme Court was asked this very question, and the majority of the court decided that promptly meant within 48 hours. This is where the McLaughlin rule that Captain Holt mentioned comes from. But the court also said that just because the police have 48 hours doesn't mean they can sit on their thumbs and hold the person in a cell. There needs to be a good reason for the delay. To put it in the court's own words, this rule is not to say that the probable cause determination in a particular case passes constitutional muster simply because it is provided within 48 hours. Such a hearing may nonetheless violate the Constitution if the arrested individual can prove that his or her probable cause determination was delayed unreasonably. At this point, you can probably see where I'm going with this. The court goes on to list out a few examples of what would be considered an unreasonable delay, and one of the examples is if the police waited the full 48 hours for the purpose of gathering additional evidence to justify the arrest, which is exactly what's happening in this episode. So yeah, even if they prove that the person is guilty, Peralta and the 99th Precinct are still getting sued.